Hello again, everyone. In this video, we're going to be creating a custom role in GCP and then assigning it to a service account. So in a previous video, I ran through this code on using DLT to grab some data from an API and load it into BigQuery. At first, I assigned it just the BigQuery data editor role, but we got an error. I glossed over it and just gave it BigQuery admin permissions, which that isn't best practice. Those permissions are really way too broad for what that service account is doing. So I'll link the video down in the description if you want to go back and actually see what this code is doing. But real quick summary of that is it just grabs data from the Chicago Data Portal API, loads it to BigQuery. I have a service account.json file here that it uses for its permissions, and we can go in here and we see it just has BigQuery data editor. And actually, just to speed this up a little bit, I'm going to lower that limit to 1000, and then right here to make sure it just does one iteration, say or limit is greater than 1000. So that's going to run through. It's going to increment the limit up by 1000. On the second iteration, it should break out. So we'll just kick that off. Okay. So here's the error that we have. Let's see, access denied. My project DLT to BQ user does not have bigquery.jobs.create permission in project DLT to BQ. Okay, so one option would be to use the CLI and maybe just make a role with that permission and assign that extra role. But a better way, if we were going to be doing this process over and over, or actually just as a one-off, either way it is best practice. And in this video, we're just going to run through doing it through the user interface here. You can do it through the CLI. I'll probably make another video on how to do that. So let's see, to start off, what I'm going to do, actually I'll keep this service account. If you're not familiar with how to do that, I'm sure I made a video on that. I am admin. You go to service accounts and then create service account. But here we want to go to roles, and we're going to create a role, and we're going to call this BigQuery DLT loader. And we should give it a description. In this case, let's just say role for DLT to be able to load data. The ID here, that is how you would assign that through the CLI. You would look up this service account, assign that role to them. So we could just call this something like BigQuery, and I think that needs to be all lowercase and underscores, BigQuery DLT loader. I think this is more for organizations, just what stage this role is in. I guess I could say general availability, saying, you know, it's been tested, it's good to go, but I'll just leave that as alpha. And then we just need to create that. Let's see. Oh, I think I need to add the permissions here. All right. So the easiest way to do this, I know the BigQuery admin has the rights that I want. So I'm going to look for BigQuery admin, and then that's just going to list all the permissions that this role already has. And I have a list here. I'll also try to remember to post these down in the description. So what we want is bigquery.datasets.create. that one. Datasets.get. Datasets.update. And now we move on to tables. So we need tables create, get, and list. So create, get, list. We need tables update and update data. And then bigquery.jobs.create. So we'll have to go back here a little bit. And yes, I am reciting the alphabet in my head right now, so I know which way to go. So this is where the CLI might be a little bit easier. You could just kind of run one bulk command to set this up rather than paging through. We'll go ahead and add these. I'm pretty confident I got them all. You'd probably want to review, and then I'm just going to create. All right, now that that's done, I'm going to go back to my service accounts here. And I should be able to manage permissions. I think it's manage access. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of this data editor because the permissions that were included in that role that the DLT loader needs are in our new custom role. So here I'm just going to go custom. Oh, probably from when I was running through this, kind of practicing, make sure everything works, I had the other one. But I believe that's the one we just created. Okay. So it just has the one role, the custom role we just created. I'm going to go back to BigQuery here and refresh contents just to show I don't have any data sets existing in here. And once we run this, we should have 1,000 records. In our final table, there are other metadata tables that are going to be created. Staging data set. Again, that was in the previous video, so if you want to dig into that, feel free. Okay, this is still hung after about 5 minutes. I think I know what's going on. I'm going to Control C, and I think the issue might be that we already have some metadata written, and it has things like state and how the pipeline's been run. Tracks things like that, and I think it got confused because I deleted those data sets manually out of BigQuery. So I'm just going to delete this, and we're going to try to rerun that real quick. Okay, so that still did take maybe 5 minutes. Unfortunately now, I'm not sure if that was because the configuration, the pipeline directory got in the way. Or maybe it's just slow network at the moment. You could test this out yourself. Run it, delete the data sets, try to run it again, see what happens. Okay, maybe it was 57 seconds, but something tells me it was longer than that. So I don't know if it doesn't take into account the time that it took to write the pipeline directory. I'll move on though. So here we are in the BigQuery BigQuery console. Don't know why I couldn't think of that. And we did get our staging data set, and we did get our Chicago crime data set, and there are 1,000 records in there, so we could just look at them all. So there we have it. And this may have run a little bit faster if I did not do the conversion to integer of the ID column, and we can actually see that here. So I did get converted to an integer, but that's an aside. So anyway, that's it for this video. This is how you would create a custom role, assign it to a service account. If you need to find out what permissions an account needs, honestly, I would use something like ChatGPT, get a quick list. Of course, double check what it tells you to assign, because that can make mistakes as well. Or if you're using something like DLT that's going to pass those error messages back saying, hey, we had an issue because you don't have this permission, you could definitely iterate through adding permissions to an account until you get those dialed in correctly. So hopefully you found this video helpful, and I'll see you in another one.